My wedding nightmare. Someone poisoned my wine. But who and why? My world shattered into a million pieces on what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, my wedding day. I woke up in a sterile hospital room, the taste of bitter wine still clinging to my tongue, the echo of accusations ringing in my ears. I had passed out at my wedding. Did you drink? The doctor asked. Number. Someone had doctor gave me on my wedding day. But who and why me? This isn't just a story. It's my reality. A twisted nightmare I'm still trying to unravel. My name is Millie, and my life irrevocably changed the moment I met Alex's family. Falling for Alex was easy. He was everything I'd ever dreamed of. Saying yes to his proposal was pure joy. But meeting his family, particularly his mother, Mrs. Donovan, was like stepping into a minefield. Alex always spoke of his mom with a strange mix of reverence and apprehension. So, the day we were supposed to meet her for dinner, my anxiety was sky high. I remember smoothing down my simple blue dress, double-checking my reflection for the umpteenth time, trying to project an image of confidence I didn't feel. Relax, Millie, she's going to love you, Alex assured me, his words a fragile shield against the storm brewing inside me. But the moment we walked through the door, I knew this was going to be worse than I imagined. Mrs. Donovan's eyes narrowed, raking me up and down with an unsettling intensity. You're certainly slender, aren't you? She said, her tone laced with something I couldn't quite decipher. I tried to laugh it off, plastering a nervous smile on my face. I guess I am, I replied. I hope you're taking care of yourself. She continued, her gaze unwavering. A woman should have some robustness, you know. Alex, bless his heart, jumped in, attempting to defuse the situation. Mom, Millie's just fine. She's healthy. Dinner was an agonizing affair. I could practically feel her judging my every move, every bite I took or didn't take. The absolute worst part came when I excused myself to the restroom. As I passed the living room, I overheard Mrs. Donovan whispering to her sister, her voice drooping with disdain. She looked sickly. How will she bear Alex's healthy children? The words were like a physical blow, stealing my breath and leaving me reeling. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. I barely touched my food, forcing a smile that felt more like a grimace. On the drive back, I was silent, lost in a sea of doubt and insecurity. Alex noticed, of course. Hey, you okay? You've been quiet since dinner. It's nothing. Just tired, I guess. I mumbled, but inside, Mrs. Donovan's words were festering, planting seeds of doubt and fear. I wondered if this was just the beginning, a glimpse into a future filled with constant judgment and disapproval. Little did I know, it was only the tip of the iceberg, a prelude to a nightmare I couldn't possibly have imagined. As the days turned into weeks, the dinners at Mrs. Donovan's became a regular, dreaded ordeal. Each invitation felt like a summons, each meal a trial. Alex, ever the optimist, kept reassuring me that things would get better, but they only seemed to worsen, each encounter chipping away at my self-esteem. One particular evening is burned into my memory with terrifying clarity. We arrived at Mrs. Donovan's to find an even more extravagant spread than usual. The dining table overflowing with dishes, a grotesque display of abundance that felt more like a trap than a welcome. As soon as we sat down, Mrs. Donovan was on the offensive, her words like poison darts aimed directly at my heart. Millie, you look even thinner than last time. You really should eat more. Oh, Mrs. Donovan, this is too much. I really can't, I protested weakly. Nonsense. She cut me off, her voice sharp and dismissive. You need to build some strength, especially if you and Alex are planning a family. I forced a smile, took a bite, but felt my stomach churn, not just from the rich food, but from the palpable undercurrent of criticism in her words. The dinner progressed with agonizing slowness, each course a fresh wave of anxiety and discomfort. You know, Millie, a good wife should know how to cook hearty meals. It's important for a family. I felt a sting at her words, a burning resentment simmering beneath my forced composure. I do cook, I managed to choke out. Well, you're setting a bad example, she retorted, her eyes narrowing. By the end of the meal, I was both nauseous and seething with anger, desperate to escape her suffocating presence. The drive home was tense, the silence thick with unspoken resentment. I couldn't hold back anymore. The dam had finally broken. It's like she's constantly judging me. I burst out, my voice trembling. Alex was silent for a long moment before responding, his words carefully chosen. I know, Millie, I'll talk to her, okay? I'm sure she doesn't mean it the way it sounds. But Mrs. Donovan had made her feelings abundantly clear, and no amount of talking seemed to soften her stance. Each subsequent dinner only reinforcing my feelings of inadequacy and isolation. Millie, are you avoiding my food deliberately? You barely eat anything I make, she'd accused, her voice drooping with suspicion. I tried to explain, desperately seeking understanding. It's not that, Mrs. Donovan, your food is very rich, and it doesn't always agree with me. She'd retort disapprovingly, her eyes cold. A little discomfort is nothing. You need to eat more. Put on some weight. It's not healthy to be so thin. Her words amplified my insecurities and doubts, fueling the growing fire of resentment that threatened to consume me. The thought of facing another meal at her house filled me with dread, a suffocating sense of impending doom. My relationship with Alex was strong, but Mrs. Donovan's unsettling presence cast a long shadow over our happiness. As I lay awake many nights, I wondered how long I could endure this relentless barrage of criticism and judgment. The discomfort in my stomach after each meal was a stark reminder of the growing discomfort in my heart, a constant ache that threatened to tear us apart. I felt like an outsider, unwelcome and misunderstood, and I couldn't help but worry about the future of our relationship under the crushing weight of his mother's disapproval. As the days rolled into weeks, my apprehension, our Mrs. Donovan, turned into outright dread. The constant scrutiny, the endless comments about my weight and eating habits, it was all becoming too much to bear. So I made a decision, one that I knew wouldn't sit well with her, but one that I needed to make for my own sanity. I started avoiding meals at her house, creating flimsy excuses to escape the suffocating atmosphere. The next time Alex mentioned going over for dinner, I hesitated before speaking up, my heart pounding in my chest. "Alex, I don't think I can go tonight." He looked surprised, his brow furrowed. "Why not? Mom's making that roast you like." I took a deep breath, steeling myself for his reaction. "It's not about the food. Your mom makes me uncomfortable. I can't keep pretending it's okay." Alex's face fell, his eyes filled with a mixture of hurt and confusion. "Millie, she's just trying to be caring, in her own way. She doesn't mean to upset you." I shook my head, frustration building within me. "It's not caring, Alex. It feels like she's attacking me, always commenting on how I look, what I eat. I can't deal with it anymore." We left it at that, but I could tell Alex was torn, caught between his loyalty to his mother and his love for me. He wanted to keep the peace, but I needed him to understand my side, to acknowledge the pain she was inflicting. The next family dinner I may set off a real storm. Mrs. Donovan called me the next day, her voice dripping with barely concealed anger. "Millie, I noticed you didn't grace us with your presence last night. Is everything all right?" I tried to keep my tone neutral, masking the resentment that churned within me. "Yes, Mrs. Donovan, I just wasn't feeling up to it." There was a sharp intake of breath on the other end of the line. "Not feeling up to it? You do realize it's rude to decline family dinners without a good reason. You're part of this family now, or so I thought. With all due respect, Mrs. Donovan, being criticized all the time." I started, but she cut me off, her voice rising. "Criticism? I'm merely concerned about your health, Millie. A wife should be strong, healthy. I'm worried you're not suitable for Alex." That hit a nerve, striking at my deepest insecurities. Suitable? I love Alex, and he loves me. That's what matters, not your opinion on my health. The conversation ended soon after, but the damage was done. The rift between us grew wider, deeper, threatening to swallow us both. One evening, as we sat quietly in our living room, the silence heavy with unspoken tension, Alex finally broke the stillness. "Millie, I spoke to Mom. She's really upset. She thinks you're avoiding her." I let out a bitter laugh. "Avoiding her? She's been nothing but harsh and judgmental since day one. What does she expect?" Alex ran a hand through his hair, looking exasperated. "She's my mom, Millie. I can't just ignore her. Can't you two try to work things out?" I looked at him, my heart aching with a mixture of love and despair. "It's not about working things out, Alex. It's about respect. She doesn't respect me, and I don't know if I can keep pretending it doesn't hurt." The wedding day was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and for a while, it truly was. Everything was perfect. The ceremony, the vows, Alex looking at me like I was the only person in the world. But then, at the reception, everything changed. I remember holding a glass of wine, the same wine everyone else was drinking, toasting to our future. It tasted a bit off, a slightly bitter note that lingered on my tongue, but I figured it was just nerves. I took a sip, and that's the last thing I remember before waking up in a stark white hospital room, confused and groggy. I tried to sit up, but a wave of dizziness washed over me. That's when I heard them, Alex and his mom, just outside my room, their voices tight with tension. Mrs. Donovan's voice was sharp, accusatory. "See what I mean, Alex? She can't even handle a simple toast. She's too weak, too fragile for our family." I wanted to shout, to defend myself, but my voice was a mere whisper, lost in the sterile air of the hospital room. Alex's voice, filled with a desperate plea, cut through her venom. "Mom, stop it. This isn't the time. We don't even know what happened." Then the door opened, and a doctor walked in, a serious look etched on his face. "Mrs. Donovan," he said, addressing me, "you gave us quite a scare. We found traces of a sedative in your system. Did you take anything before the ceremony?" I shook my head weakly, my mind racing, trying to piece together the fragmented memories. "Nothing, just the wine, the champagne at the toast, but no one else had this reaction. It's very unusual." "Doctor, are you saying someone might have tampered with her drink?" Alex asked, his voice laced with disbelief. The doctor hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "It's a possibility we can't ignore. We'll need to run some more tests." I lay there, paralyzed by fear and confusion, the weight of his words crushing me. Someone had drugged me on my wedding day. But who and why? As the doctor left to arrange the tests, Alex came to my side, taking my hand, his touch offering a fragile comfort. Millie, I'm so sorry. I can't believe this is happening. I tried to smile, to reassure him, but my mind was consumed by the chilling realization that someone wanted to hurt me, to sabotage my happiness. The only thing I could taste was the bitterness of the wine and Mrs. Donovan's harsh words echoing in my head, a symphony of suspicion and dread. That night in the hospital, I couldn't sleep. The realization that someone might have deliberately hurt me was terrifying, a violation that left me feeling vulnerable and exposed. I looked over at Alex, asleep in the chair next to my bed, his face etched with worry, and I felt a wave of sadness wash over me. Our wedding day was supposed to be about us, our love, our commitment to each other. Instead, it ended with me in a hospital bed, surrounded by suspicion and fear, my dreams shattered into a million pieces. Back home from the hospital, I was a bundle of nerves, the trauma of the wedding night clinging to me like a shroud. The thought that someone had drugged me at my own wedding was like a dark cloud hanging over me, poisoning every happy memory, casting a shadow of doubt over everyone around me. And deep down, I had a nagging suspicion about who it might be, a chilling possibility that I desperately tried to push away. One evening, I couldn't hold it in any longer. The truth had to be spoken, no matter the consequences. Alex and I were sitting in the living room, the TV playing some show neither of us was watching, the silence between us thick with unspoken fears. Alex, I need to talk to you about something serious, I began, my voice trembling slightly. He looked at me, his eyes filled with apprehension. What is it, Millie? I took a deep breath, bracing myself for his reaction. I've been thinking about what happened at the wedding, and I can't shake off the feeling that your mom might have had something to do with it. Alex's face changed instantly, his expression hardening. Millie, that's crazy talk. Why would you even think that? I could feel my frustration mounting, the dam of pent-up emotions threatening to burst. Think about it, Alex. All those comments, the way she's always on my case. It's not that far-fetched. Alex stood up, pacing the room, his agitation growing. Millie, you're talking about my mom. She can be tough, sure, but she wouldn't do something like that. You're letting your imagination run wild. I stood to, my voice rising, fueled by a desperate need to be heard, to be believed. Am I, Alex? Or have you just been turning a blind eye to all the things she's said and done? Can't you see she doesn't like me? That she'll do anything to get rid of me? He stopped pacing, his voice tight with anger. Millie, this is serious. Accusing someone of drugging you, that's a big deal. You can't just throw around accusations without proof. I felt tears prick my eyes, a mixture of anger and disappointment. I thought you'd at least consider what I'm saying, but it seems like you'll always take her side. Alex ran a hand through his hair, his expression a mixture of frustration and helplessness. It's not about taking sides, Millie. It's about being rational. We can't accuse people based on a hunch. I felt a wave of despair wash over me. So, what am I supposed to do? Just forget it happened? He came over, trying to put his arm around me, but I pulled away, unable to bear his touch. We need to think this through, Millie. Maybe talk to the police again, see if they found anything new. I nodded, my heart heavy with doubt. Fine, we'll talk to them. But Alex, if it turns out I'm right, I don't know what I'll do. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing, replaying every interaction with Mrs. Donovan, searching for clues, for a reason, for any explanation that would make sense of this nightmare. The possibility, no matter how painful, was haunting me. A couple of weeks after the hospital incident, we were invited to another family gathering at Mrs. Donovan's house. I was hesitant to go, my stomach churning at the thought of facing her again. But Alex insisted it would be good for us to show a united front to prove that we wouldn't be broken by this. As we walked into Mrs. Donovan's house, the atmosphere was thick with tension, a palpable sense of unease. I could feel eyes on me, whispering under their breath, as if I were a pariah, a threat to their perfect family. Mrs. Donovan greeted us with a forced smile, her voice dripping with something that didn't quite sound like sincerity. Millie, dear, so glad you could make it, she said, her eyes cold and distant. I forced a smile back, my heart pounding in my chest. Thank you for having us, Mrs. Donovan. Dinner was served, and I noticed Mrs. Donovan made a point of bringing me a separate dish, placing it in front of me with a flourish. Millie, considering your delicate condition, the emphasis on delicate didn't go unnoticed, and a shiver ran down my spine. The dish looked normal enough, but my instincts screamed at me to stay away. Alex, oblivious to my discomfort, started eating his meal, praising the food with his usual enthusiasm. I pushed the food around my plate, my appetite gone, my mind consumed by a growing sense of dread. Mrs. Donovan watched me, a hint of a smirk playing on her lips. Not hungry, Millie. I made it just for you. I looked up, meeting her gaze, my suspicions growing stronger with each passing second. I'm just not feeling all that well, Mrs. Donovan, but thank you. The room was filled with murmurs and side glances, the weight of everyone's eyes on me, judging, questioning. Alex, noticing my discomfort, leaned in, his brow furrowed with concern. You okay, Millie? I nodded, trying to appear calm, but my mind was racing, consumed by a terrifying thought. What if she had done something to the food again? What if this was her way of finishing what she started at the wedding? I couldn't take any chances. I had to protect myself. I whispered to Alex, my voice barely audible. Can we switch plates? I'm not comfortable eating this. As he reached for a bite of my food, Mrs. Donovan's hand shot out, her voice laced with panic. No, Alex, don't. The room went silent, every eye in the room fixed on her. Alex looked up, startled, his expression confused. Mom, what's wrong? She stammered, searching for an excuse, her composure crumbling before my eyes. That dish is special, made just for Millie. It's not to everyone's taste. I stared at her, my suspicions hardening into certainty, my heart pounding in my chest. What's in it that's so special? She fumbled for words, her usual self-assuredness replaced with a desperate fear. It's just a special recipe. The tension in the room was palpable, a suffocating weight that pressed down on us all. Alex looked between his mother and me, his confusion slowly turning into realization, his eyes widening in horror. Mom, what did you do? Mrs. Donovan was silent, her face pale and drawn, the truth hanging heavy in the air, unspoken but undeniable. My suspicions were right. There was something in that food, something she didn't want anyone else to eat. The room was heavy with tension following the incident with the plates. You could feel everyone's eyes on us, on Mrs. Donovan, who looked like she was caught in a trap. Alex's face, a mix of anger and disbelief, turned to his mother. Mom, what's going on? Why did you freak out about me eating Millie's food? It's nothing, just I couldn't hold back anymore. That's not good enough, Mrs. Donovan. You've been against me from the start. What did you put in my food? The room erupted into murmurs. Mrs. Donovan, I started around looking for an escape. I didn't put anything in your food, Millie. This is ridiculous. I stood up, my hands trembling. It's not ridiculous. Ever since I started coming to these dinners, I felt sick. And then the wedding. Someone drugged my drink, and now this. It's too much of a coincidence. Mom, if you did something to Millie's food, you need to tell us now. This is serious. Mrs. Donovan's face crumpled. I just wanted to protect you, Alex. She's not right for you, sick. I felt a surge of anger. Protect him by making me sick, by drugging me. The guests were now openly staring, ear thick with accusation in shock. Alex's uncle, who had been silent until now. This is a serious accusation, Millie. Do you have any proof? I pointed to my plate. I'm calling the police and they will give the food prepared by Mrs. Donovan for examination. And then Mrs. Donovan burst into tears. I just wanted the best for my son. I thought if she was out of the picture, someone healthier. The confession hung in the air, heavy and damp. Alex looked at his mother, his expression one of utter betrayal. You did this to Millie, my wife. I felt a mix of relief and despair. My relationship with Alex, our place in his family, everything was in sham. The rest of the evening was a haze. There were arguments, people taking sides, some in disbelief. As we drove home, neither of us, the silence was oppressive, filled with unasked questions and unspoken fears. What does this mean for us? For our future? The woman who was supposed to be my family had betrayed me in the worst way. That night as I lay in bed, the events of the evening replayed in my mind. Mrs. Donovan's confession, the look of shock on Alex's face, the whispers of the guests. The confrontation had brought the truth to light. One evening, as Alex and I sat together, the silence between us felt particularly profound, a heavy weight that threatened to suffocate us. Finally, breaking the stillness, Alex spoke, his voice low and strained. We need to talk about what's next. About the police. I nodded, feeling the weight of his words, the gravity of the situation. I've been thinking about that too. I replied, my voice barely above a whisper. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and support. It's your decision, Millie. I'll back you up, whatever you choose. I agonized over the thought, feeling the weight of the decision on my shoulders, knowing that whatever I decided would have far-reaching consequences. It's just, going to the police feels like opening a Pandora's box, unleashing a storm of publicity and scrutiny that I don't know if I can handle. It's not just about exposing what happened. It's about the impact it will have on our lives, on our family. He nodded understandingly, his hand reaching out to gently squeeze mine. I know it's hard, Millie, but you don't have to do this alone. If you want to pursue this legally, I'm with you, every step of the way. After a long pause, I let out a deep breath, releasing the tension that had been building inside me for weeks. No, I don't think I want to go down that road, I said, my voice firm, resolute. But there's something else I have decided. I hesitated, gathering my courage, knowing that what I was about to say would change our lives forever. I can't see your mother again, Alex. After everything, I can't. Alex's reaction was quiet, contemplative, his eyes searching mine for understanding. I understand, he said softly, his words are a bomb to my wounded soul. And honestly, I feel the same. After what she did, I can't just carry on as if nothing's happened. I won't see her either. His words were a relief, a validation of my feelings, a sign that we could weather this storm together. It's going to be hard, Alex, I said, my voice filled with doubt. She's your mother. He squeezed my hand, his grip firm and reassuring. I know, but what she did, it's unforgivable. Our relationship, our marriage, comes first. In the days that followed, we both stood by our decision. Mrs. Donovan was no longer a part of our lives. A painful but necessary separation. We focused on each other, on rebuilding and strengthening our bond, on healing the wounds that had been inflicted. We made plans for the future. Small things to look forward to, like weekend getaways and quiet evenings together. Simple joys that had been overshadowed by the drama and betrayal. As we moved forward, I realized that this ordeal, as painful as it was, had brought us closer. We had faced a challenge together. So, tell me, Reddit, based on everything you've heard, did I handle this situation the right way? Was cutting Mrs. Donovan out of our lives the only option? Or should I have tried harder to find a way to reconcile? I'm still grappling with the fallout from that night, and I'd really appreciate your honest opinions and advice.